So, sitting with like the events that I've kind of experienced over the weekend and kind of thinking and reflecting on it more, I'm starting to understand why there are so many people who say, like, don't sit in rooms in which people don't understand your value or your worth, or especially if they can't see the value in themselves, it's not necessarily something that's beneficial. Because in the instance that I saw somebody do something that was kind of wrong, I simply voiced my concern in the moment and expressed that. And for the response to be something along the lines of like, my opinion doesn't matter. I mean, and they might have the perspective that even their opinion doesn't matter, their view doesn't matter. They weren't necessarily saying their perspective is better than mine. They're saying that nobody's opinion really matters, and has a little bit more of a perspective of, does anything we do actually matter? So didn't really stop and recognize that I quite literally get paid, and I'm not. Everybody has their profession. Everybody has different things that they do. I'm not being like, oh my god, but with tarot and with the nature of the things that I do, I quite literally get paid to give my perspective and to give insight and to give knowledge about the things that I do. So for somebody to say that my perspective, it doesn't matter, it's, irrelevant and nobody gives a fuck, when people have quite literally been grateful to the point where they've even tipped, because of that. And my perspective isn't unique, right? There are countless different tarot readers, there are countless different coaches, there are countless different people who are sharing their perspective. And above all else, I think that's like the biggest purpose of this human experience, for all of us to then understand that all of us have this value, that all of us have perspectives that are worth value. Not just me. I don't say things like that because I think I'm the only person. I think all of us have something to contribute to this experience. And if you think about what TikTok or social media is, that quite literally also reflects that perspective. So there are times where I might not have a belief system that aligns with another person, because for any belief system that there is, there's always going to be an opposing truth. People get paid mad money on this platform just to share the things that they fucking have to say. So I would never let anybody tell you that what you've gone through doesn't matter, that your perspective doesn't matter, and I would never let anybody dismiss the value of the things that you say just because they don't like what it is. Sometimes when you speak up or something happens and they're not used to somebody being in the position to do such or doing such, it makes people uncomfortable. And I think it's worth doing every single fucking time, because if the response is what it is, it shows the contrast between where you might be in that situation and where they might be. And sometimes there could just be a genuine misunderstanding. You might just need to work something out. There might just be something that needs to be communicated within context of something that's happening. So I'm not going to say like, oh, just take the perspective of just being superior in any capacity. But if you are simply voicing an opinion or a concern or something, and somebody meets it with instant dismissal and trying to minimize your voice and try to try to silence your voice, you might be not in the best space. And it could be that they're not doing it from a bad space. They might not be doing it from the perspective of even trying to specifically silence you, as much as maybe they themselves might feel that they don't have the capacity, or they don't have that they themselves don't have weight, that they themselves don't have value in the things that they say and the way they conduct themselves. But on a completely different note, even when it comes to shitty perspectives, people pay mad money for shitty perspectives. Like first of all, Donald Trump is president. That's number one. Number two, there are so many red pill coaches and coaches of people trying to push the most absurd, backwards, most misinformed, most ignorant agendas ever, and people get paid decent fucking money to get coached by these individuals. Earlier today, I was scrolling, and this woman, very intelligent, very articulate, miles, like literally a goddess sent on this fucking earth, the way that she represents herself, right? So very intelligent, articulate, right? And when she was basically speaking to another individual, their perspective was trying to teach men how to bag women, but in that exact same breath, thinking that a woman who has a house and who has their own accomplishments needs to somehow be subservient to a man who doesn't even have their own apartment. And quite literally then, in that exact same breath, decided to then try to degrade her and say that she needs to learn her place and be in a kitchen. Verbatim words that came out of this man's mouth as she articulated that she doesn't feel as if it makes sense for somebody who is very successful to then be subservient to somebody who's not. And that man makes more money than me. That man makes more money than a high majority of people. So if his dog shit opinion can be monetized and paid for, then I can guarantee if you're a being who actually tries your best to have grounded, practical, and real insight, especially if it's met with compassion and empathy, because the ignorance is very loud within this physical realm sometimes, then I would definitely say your opinion, your voice, your viewpoint is worth being heard. And I will never, ever, ever diminish the insight that you might be able to gain from another person. Now, you might not resonate with certain things that I say, and you don't have to resonate with everything that I say, and vice versa. Even if somebody's giving profound insight, you don't always have to resonate with every single perspective that they have. You know, we are allowed to respect the differences that other people have while not agreeing with them. And I think that's also the other aspect that kind of bothered me about the interaction. You are allowed to not agree with the thing that I say, but then to be dismissive, to kind of put a wall up, and to then pretty much basically mitigate my entire lived experience and dismiss it to something as minor as an opinion, while not being open to hearing anything that I'm saying to then even correct or give more information to then elaborate on my said perspective. I think it's quite the opposite. And I think in so many TV shows, we've quite literally seen this little bit of wisdom and knowledge passed down, from cartoons to, like, you know, live action shows, to pretty much anything. Your perspective matters, your voice matters, who you are matters, and the life you live matters. And I'm not going to act as if I can't grow more. I'm not going to act as if there's not more wisdom that I can obtain. I'm not going to act as if I am done being able to mold and shape my perspective and grow it based off of new information or based off of new experiences that I might interact with. But that doesn't change the fact that where I am right now has value, and it doesn't change the fact that where you are, it doesn't matter where you are still valuable from the seat that you are living, or the seat that you're sitting in or standing up in, or you get the point I'm trying to make. Either way, peace and blessings, and I'll catch you in the next rant reading. I'm pretty sure we're going to have quite a bit, but I'll see you soon, guys.